So is it really possible, given the current economic situation, for someone to get completely out of debt? Hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth. Live simple.
Live free. Debt freedom. We've been talking a lot about that recently, and that's one of the topics of our channel is debt freedom. I just did a video a week or two ago about the flip house that we're doing and how we did that with the finances, and I talked about being debt free. And so we wanted to explore debt freedom a little bit more. So you want to talk about where we're at here?
Yeah. I came up earlier than Bill did to up to Maine to take care of my dad. He's 88, so my sister can have a break and go on a nice vacation. And then my sweet hubby went ahead and drove up, when he got done with work one day, and drove on up. So he's here with me. So this is on the deck of my sister's house up in Maine. Beautiful, beautiful evening. It's lovely out here.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. It's like 68, 69 right now. See, I got a shirt on instead of the 90 that we had down in Virginia. And I'll be here all week, and I don't have to swing a hammer for a week, so I'm looking forward to the break.
Right. And like I said, I'm just making sure that I take care of my dad's meals, make sure he has everything that he needs.
So anyway, I got plenty of videos to come. Those will continue without a break, even though I'm taking a break from the construction work for a week.
Yep.
So the topic, debt freedom. Is it possible to get out of debt? I heard a discussion recently where someone was saying that she didn't think that it really was possible, given the current economic situation and the inflation and all that kind of stuff.
In fact, I think she was feeling kind of hopeless.
For middle class Americans to get out of debt anymore. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, we were pretty hopeless as well when we...
Oh goodness, yeah. Years ago.
We had 4 homes that we owned, our own home, and 3 rental properties.
And a business.
And a business, but they were all mortgaged to the hilt, and when everything collapsed in 2008, we lost everything. That's how we ended up living in that little tiny house. And we've been working long and hard to dig ourselves out of that hole, and now we are. We've dug ourselves out of the hole, and we are debt-free. So how did we do that?
Also, I think another really important factor is, yes, you get there, and then how do you stay there?
Yeah.
How do you stay that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get out of debt, absolutely, but you can't do it without a plan.
Yeah, I think that's just true with really important things in life.
Yeah, you can't do it if you don't know how to do it. And a lot of people think, well, the only way that I can get out of debt is if I can earn more income to apply to the debt. But let me say here that it's not how much you make or earn, it's how much you keep. And
how you spend it.
And it has a lot to do with your budgeting, where you spend your money, what your priorities are, and if you make your debt payoff a priority, it will happen, but still only if you have a plan. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it was about 2 years ago or so now, I used to be in a business where I taught a debt elimination course, and I don't do that anymore, but about 2 years ago I taught that course in our church.
At church, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I videoed all of it, and I think there's 4 videos, series that I put up on my channel about how to get out of debt. And so, especially if you're new to the channel, you may not have seen that, so we wanted to bring your attention to it. But
bring it to your attention.
Okay, I don't know what I said, but okay.
You said bring your attention to it.
I want to read some comments of people that we've gotten. Some of them were a while ago, some of them was only one of them was only about a week ago. These comments of people who actually did the course, followed the advice. Here's what they have to say, and I'll put it here on the screen too so you can see it. Marina Rivas says, I am so happy for today I finished paying off my debt. I followed your advice, and any money that I received, I put it towards my debt and paid it off way before the time I thought it would take me. Listen to this, I feel free from debt for the first time in many years. I now think very hard before spending in things that I really don't need. Thank you so much for your help, and thank God for allowing me to feel free again, as it's a great feeling. I am so proud of you for doing this.
Yes.
And she talked about the feeling of freedom over and over again. And that's what Live Simple, Live Free is all about. That's the free part.
And we are genuinely, Marina, genuinely proud of you. And we are so excited for you to share with us what you've been able to do.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
And just let me say that it does our heart wonders when we hear things like this.
Yes. Sure, we want to really help,
Yep.
help somebody.
So here's another one. You want to read this?
Okay. Glenna Richards. One more bill and we are debt-free except mortgage. I want to thank you for all your advice and encouragement. Good job, you guys. That is awesome.
In the plan as we present it, the mortgage most of the time is the last thing that you go after. So she's paid off all of her other debts. Probably, I don't know what her debts were, but a car or two, credit cards, school debt.
Yeah, who knows?
All of those things go first, and the mortgage is the last thing. So the only thing she's got left is her mortgage. She's well on her way to debt freedom.
Yeah.
Want to read that?
Okay. Christina Henry. Just wanted to update you on my progress with the financial plan. I started this about 2 years ago. I have paid off 5 debts, and in the next 3 months, I'll be paying off 3 more. If all goes well, we will be debt-free in 1 year. That includes a $30,000 balance on our mortgage. Keeping you both in my prayers, and I'm saying that because there's like exclamation points everywhere. Keeping you both in my prayers. Thank you for helping me on this journey. Good going, Christina, and just so thrilled that is going so well for you. You guys can really see bright light at the end of the tunnel.
So you can really see that it really does work for people who actually watch the series, learn how to do it, and the most important thing is apply themselves to it.
Right.
To actually do it. It really does work.
It does work, and you just have to hang in there.
Now this is the last one from Leanne Robertson, and this came in only just a few days ago. She says, I watched the video today on YouTube. She's talking about the video that we just did, talking about how we're paying for the flip house and that we're still, maintaining our debt freedom. So she watched that video, and she says, I applied the lesson to get out of debt when it first aired, talking about my series. We should be debt-free in 5 to 6 years. I've been hanging on to a student loan since 2007. Once I got it out of arrears, I had it paid off in 6 months in 2019.
Yes.
And that's probably a debt that, she had to get it out of arrears, so apparently she wasn't making payments on it. And it was probably a debt she thought she could never take care of. And here she is, she got it out of debt in 6 months.
Got it all paid for.
I urge everyone to watch it, to watch the series. Don't spend your money, invest and save. So, like I said earlier, it just really does our hearts wonders to read things like this. And for you guys who told us about your successes, thank you so much for encouraging us.
Yes.
And if there's others out there who have gotten out of debt or are getting out of debt with our help from the series, we want to hear about it. Also, I know we get many comments of people who are already out of debt and have lived the debt-free lifestyle, and so you know what I'm talking about. You know the freedom that comes from it, right?
Yes.
So, can it be done? Absolutely. Just follow the plan.
Yeah, and just, it does take diligence. It may take having to look at things in a really different way, but it actually really does work.
Yeah.
And I tell you, having made a decision that I'm not going to buy something unless I can pay for it cash, and I'm not going to get stuff I don't need, I can't tell you how wonderful it has felt to feel like that when I need to try to pick up a plane ticket to come up and take care of my dad so my sister can go on a trip that she needs the rest, can go on a little vacation. Just to know I can just go do that. I've got money saved ahead and I could just try to find a good flight. There was a time in our lives when it seemed like we had so much more, but to have the money to be able to suddenly be able to fly somewhere or take care of something was very difficult, or else we'd end up putting it on some kind of credit card. And so there really is a sense of freedom in knowing that as long as I'm staying careful and I make sure I've got the money I need for what I need, I have freedom to be able to do something like this that means a lot to me, to help my sister out and to spend time with my dad. Maine's a long way from Virginia.
Yeah.
And So
I know, I drove every mile.
I know. I flew. He drove. So yeah, you know, the things that you learn to get out of debt, then they have to stay kind of deeply ingrained in how you look at things, and learning to budget, which is very important. We have videos on budgeting, and just learning to live the kind of life that says, I like those chimes. I think they're great. They sound like cowbells. But learning to live a life where you are just choosing that you're not ever going to be in debt again. You know.
I heard a quote the other day, I don't remember where I heard it, but I absolutely loved it. It said, rich people are rich because they live like they're poor. And poor people are poor because they live like they're rich.
Now that's not talking about genuinely poor people, but people that are really struggling, that have money, but they're struggling with their finances.
Yeah, I'm talking about middle class people who can't pay their bills. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about those who are genuinely poor.
Right, that's a whole
But
different thing.
poor people are poor because they live like they're rich. In other words, they choose the Madison Avenue lifestyle by using credit cards and debt, and they live like they have money, but they really don't.
Right. They're just digging a deep, deep hole.
A house bigger than they really need, 2 new cars or a new car and a nice used car with a loan on each instead of buying, $3,000 used cars like we do.
Yeah.
But, because we live that way, we're now able to buy things cash that we never would have been able to if we had used debt for everything.
Yeah. You could say middle-class people who are rich is because they live like they're poor, and middle-class people are poor sometimes because they live like they're rich. I don't know, but it's a very interesting quote.
There was a book that I read a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It's called The Millionaire Next Door, and I don't have the book with me, so I don't remember who wrote it. And it's probably 15 years old at this point, so some of the numbers in it are way out of whack.
Sure.
But I absolutely loved it because the author interviewed millionaires who live in middle-class neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And their neighbors don't know they're rich. They don't know they're millionaires. And they got that way by living in middle-class neighborhoods.
Yeah.
When they had the money to buy a really fancy big house, they didn't.
Yeah.
And one thing I remember is what was the most common vehicle that these people owned. You'd think of, a Ferrari or something.
Yeah.
It was a Ford F-Series pickup truck.
Yep.
An average middle-class vehicle, And I think only like 30% of them actually bought brand new vehicles. All the rest bought vehicles that were 2 or 3 years old. Mm-hmm. So if you can get a hold of that book, fascinating read, even though, like I said, the numbers are probably a little off now because it's a little old. All the concepts are there. All the concepts are great.
Yeah.
The Millionaire Next Door. So, okay. The series that I'm talking about, yes, it is here on YouTube, on our channel. And yes, I will put a link at the end, on the end screen of this video, and also in the description down below. Now let me tell you a little bit about it. When I teach it in church or in other places, it's a 4-hour seminar. So I recorded the whole thing, and I believe it's 4 videos, if I remember,
That sounds about right.
45 minutes to an hour each.
Yeah.
So it's not something you're just going to sit down and do some light listening. It's a real honest-to-goodness workshop. Sit down, put aside all of the other distractions, listen to what I'm saying. You can take your finances and plug it into the system that I show you, and by the end you'll know exactly to the month when you'll be out of debt, including your mortgage. And for the average person, they can get completely debt-free, including all their debts, including their mortgage, in 7 years or less.
Yeah, I mean, have a notebook, have a pen ready. The concepts genuinely work.
Yeah. Now, forgot what I was just going to say. Oh, there's a couple of worksheets in there, and from time to time people ask me for copies of the worksheets. They're not available because of trademark or copyright issues, but the one, it's a chart that shows all these numbers. I can't really do anything to show you that, but the other one is the worksheet where you're actually going to put in your own numbers and figure out how to get out of debt. If you pause the video, you can see the column headings and just write them down on a piece of paper, and then you can just go right from there.
Yeah.
So it really does work, even if I can't give you the copies of the worksheets.
Yeah.
So
we just want to be encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
it may take time, and maybe with things being more of a struggle now, it'll take a little more time. But if there was ever a time in, when it was a good idea to do our best to be out of debt and to live below our means, it's certainly during these times.
Right.
So
that's it. There's our debt elimination video series. I want you to check it out, and I want you to let us know when you start to see some success by following it.
Yeah. We're just so happy for everybody when that starts to
Yeah,
happen.
I used to teach it in churches a lot. I traveled all around in different churches, and the people that followed it actually got out of debt. Many other people followed it for 3 or 4 months and then quit, and now they're in more debt than ever.
Well, yeah, you got to stick it out.
Right.
I mean, it takes diligence. I'll never forget one older couple that were concerned about their retirement, and it was mind-blowing because they got out of debt, and then they were able to use the money that they weren't spending on debt, and my goodness, years went by. We knew them for a long time, and they ended up with like a beautiful retirement setup with their investments. They bought like some apartment building or something like that.
No, they already had it.
Okay.
They had their home, and they had another, I think it was a duplex that was a rental.
But
and
it was mortgaged.
It was mortgaged to the hilt, like most landlords are. They came back to us a couple years later and said they had completely paid off everything, including their home and their duplex, in like 4 years or something. It blew my mind, but they followed the system, and it worked.
That's so cool. So as they're going into retirement, owning your own home is one way of having income in retirement because it's something you don't have to pay.
Right.
And so they had their own home owned, and then they had income coming in. I mean, what a different thing life was for them at that point. I was just thrilled to death.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
cool.
there you go. I want to encourage you, get out of debt at all costs. Watch the videos to see how to do that, and let us know how it's going.
Oh, there's a cute little chipmunk on the deck right there.
Dana has bird feeders right here on the deck, and they're actually squirrel and chipmunk feeders.
Yeah,
there
or
are
raccoon feeders.
Little squirrels and chipmunks all over this deck all the time.
Right. Yep.
So anyway, okay guys, thanks for listening. I hope this has been encouraging to you.
Yeah, live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yep, love you guys.
Really blessed.
Yeah, be really blessed.
And we'll see you next time.
Yep. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait a minute. I found one more. This is from SJ. Bill, I do not remember how long it's been since your video on finance aired, but it motivated me. I had a loan of $22,000 at that point. It will be paid off in 2 weeks. Thank you for the motivation. I will be debt free. I will owe no one. I am so happy. And so are we, SJ. Congratulations.